And greetings. This is the Long in the Boot podcast, the podcast coming to you from the heel of the boot of Southwest Louisiana. I am G. Long, host of the Long in the Boot podcast, and sitting across the way is Deb.
Hello, people.
Hello, Deb.
Hi. How are you doing?
How you been? Haven't seen you in a while.
Oh, I know. It's been crazy.
It's been minutes.
Yeah.
Tens of minutes.
Oh, that's too easy. Yes.
If you want to reach the Long in the Boot podcast, remember longintheboot@gmail.com and the phone number 337-502-9011. I had a couple people call that number.
You did?
But they hung up. They didn't leave a message.
Oh.
So look, if you call and you get the message thing, leave a message.
Leave a message. Say
Please.
what you want to say. Maybe they got nervous.
Could be.
Maybe they misdialed, weren't prepared to put their thoughts into.
And they were local numbers. At least it looked like they were. I guess
or maybe they had something ugly to say.
Well, that's true as
and
well. I almost called back.
Backed off.
But
yeah.
Seems kind of stalkerish.
Well, I guess that's what people do in modern, we do it. Somebody calls you and they hang up. A lot of times
Well, here's the rule for me. If I don't answer, you better leave a message because there's a pretty good chance.
Oh, yeah. Well, but obviously they didn't want to be.
Yeah, they didn't want to be bothered, I guess.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I didn't want to be bothered either.
Well, I'm not bothered if somebody calls the Long in the Boot number.
Oh, no. Oh, but you might be bothered if they call you personally.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if it's about your warranty. Then I'm really bothered.
Yeah, the warranty on the car that I sold several years ago is about to expire.
Yes.
I think they really need to call the new owner. I have no idea.
The new owner sent them to you. That's how they got this number.
Maybe so.
All right. So that's that. And
what's happening?
School is about to start.
Well,
it actually
has.
Yeah, it has.
For teachers.
It has begun.
It has started. And
wow.
In fact, in a parish that will not be named, the first day of school will be Friday the 13th.
Bum, bum, bum.
I know I don't have that set up.
Yeah, you do have. Oh, you don't have it set up.
I don't have it set up.
Like, I know you have that sound.
Oh, I do have that sound.
We all know you have that sound.
It's going to get used too.
Oh, okay, but you don't want to overdo it. Then it becomes
funnier.
Family Guy teaches you that if you just stick with it.
Just beat that dead horse until it's just a smear on the sidewalk.
That's it. Then you know that you got him. You know it.
School starts on Friday the 13th because why not tempt fate? I mean, what could happen?
Well, we talked about it before. That was the going home date, Friday the 13th, March.
In 2020. And then, but nothing.
And our wedding anniversary.
Nothing major happened last year other than a hurricane.
Okay. We're beating that dead horse too.
Flood.
I will say I'm really pleased that the mayor, Nick Hunter, has not let that horse go.
Yeah, you beat that dead horse in Washington called Congress.
It's the wallet.
Beat it.
Yeah.
Beat it and keep beating it. I'll give you a new bat if you need one.
Oh, anyhow, yeah. Poor Lake Charles. Okay.
Yeah, no.
And the surrounding areas. It's all of Southwest Louisiana.
Joe Biden doesn't care about Lake Charles. There, I said it.
All right. So we've got a topic for today, but before we jump right to that topic,
I want to do a couple of things about.
Yeah, because history is being made. Every moment of our lives, history is being made.
Here, hang on. History just happened.
Huh?
Yeah. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, again.
Now it's going to be on your test.
Yeah, that's right.
So everybody.
There will be a quiz.
Absolutely.
So we wanted to hit a couple news stories that we saw over the week because it has to do actually with the television show.
Does it? Oh, yeah, it does.
I mean, it's
all right.
Black Mirror.
Absolutely.
If you haven't seen Black Mirror,
go watch them.
Watch them.
But first, Google the order you should watch them in.
Yes. And also understand that it's done as a fiction show, but unfortunately, much like the book 1984, much of the show seems to be becoming
reality. So the correlation here is ranked number 10 episode called Nosedive. It happened in season 3, and actually it's the writers from Parks and Rec, so we know them to be quite amusing. Yeah.
Some people do.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. I can't speak for everybody, but I liked Parks and Rec. Anyway, so their writers created a spoof on what happens with online reviews if you take it to its ultimate extreme. And the poor young lady in that episode, well, she got some bad reviews because she was having a bad day. She needed her credit score to go up. She needed her personal score to increase she could get a better apartment.
It's like the idea if you have Yelp reviewers reviewing each other
all the time. Yeah, you give somebody a strange look, and then because we all have a chip in us, and they can then access your information.
Yeah, they
can review you personally
instantly.
Yeah.
For anything.
So that's terrifying on its own. Anyway, so how does that correlate to what's happening now, Mr. G. Long?
It's Long, Mr. Long.
Well, I'm thinking teacher role too. It's like, now you're Mr. Long to me at school.
That's right.
Yeah.
Pay attention. Well, as all of you for the most part know, and if you don't know this, then you will now. In China, they have a social credit system, and it's a combination of government and business surveillance that gives you a citizen score. And that score can restrict your ability to do certain things in society. For instance, plane tickets, buying property, taking out loans. All of this is based on your social credit score, not your credit score.
Your social score. How do you behave socially? Are you living up to the standards and traditions of society?
Exactly. And the question, of course, when Black Mirror ran the episode, people went, well, thank goodness that could never happen here. Well, that could never happen.
I don't know. I didn't watch it like that. I watched it in, oh, dear God, this is going to happen.
This is so going to happen.
This is so happening.
Well, because of the riots of January 6th, several of the web companies have unveiled predecessors to what could become a soft social credit system by the end of the decade.
A soft social?
Yeah, that's what they're calling it, a soft social credit system.
Because hard would be just too much.
And they're getting a little help from good old Washington, D.C., of course.
What does the government have to do with this?
Well, they can't allow the terrorists to win, you see.
All right.
Now, if you disagree with the government, in the eyes of many, you're an enemy of the state, right? So how can we prevent that from happening? Well, we just keep an eye on everybody. Last week, PayPal announced a partnership with the Southern Poverty Law Center, which used to be a group that mainly just looked for
injustices.
No, they looked for white supremacy in society or violent tendencies.
Oh, okay. Kept an eye on those subgroups.
But they have gradually become more and more left wing. If you go to the Southern Poverty Law Center to look at their lists, the left seems to be conspicuously absent. For instance, eco-terrorists. They're not there.
Okay. There's no balance to their.
So now PayPal is in partnership with Southern Poverty Law Center to investigate the role of white supremacists and propagators of anti-government rhetoric. So just anti-government rhetoric, talking.
That's kind of vague. Yeah, that's too general.
PayPal says the collected information will be shared with other financial firms and politicians.
Well, okay, financial firms, so part of your credit score. But why the government?
Yeah.
Why politicians?
Why? Indeed.
What makes them better than me?
Facebook is taking similar measures, recently introducing messages that asked users to basically snitch on their extremist friends, which, considering Facebook's bias, which it has.
Yeah, what's extremism
this is going to target the right more than the left, of course. And it says at the same time, Facebook and Microsoft are working with several other web giants and the United Nations on a database to block potential extremist content.
The UN?
Yeah, the UN.
Because we're all going to get along so well that we're all going to have the same vision.
Now, for some, the ideas of this seem logical because the internet's riddled with scams and all kinds of
Yeah.
And there's no question hate speech found a place on Facebook for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's going to defend white supremacists. However, the same issue with government censorship exists with corporate censorship. If there is a line, who will be drawing it?
Absolutely. Well, that's always been the question.
Well,
the minority, which group? Does the group change every 4 years?
Well, and the problem is there was a Supreme Court justice years ago when he was talking about extremism. He said, I'll know it when I see it. The problem is if you're going to have individuals out there able to unilaterally remove your ability to use the internet then that presents a problem because the internet is becoming pretty much a tool you have to get a job.
Absolutely, for all things.
And then at what point will somebody equate Ben Shapiro, who's no question right-leaning, but would basically say, well, he's the same as David Duke.
Yeah.
Well, he's not.
Well, they just move the measure as they please.
Yeah.
And so, again, it becomes somebody's opinion.
Well, you've got Donald Trump as a good example. He was removed, just made an unperson on the internet for the most part. I'm sure it's going to happen to Cuomo, probably, but that's an example of the other side getting it.
Yeah. So, well, and that's the key, right? You've got balance because it's both sides. It's not one side.
And if you think it's only the internet, remember, several banking platforms have already announced a ban on several types of legal purchases. For instance, you can't use your credit card in a state where marijuana is legal to buy marijuana.
Okay. You're not allowed to charge it?
Nope. And you have, for instance, guns. Several of the banking platforms have announced a ban on your ability to use your credit card to buy a firearm.
Is that because credit card companies do not want to support people who purchase those, or they don't want to support those tools,
Well, basically, they want to show that they're woke, that they're not supporting the idea of you.
Oh, okay. So that's part of their brand.
Right.
We're just this kind of company.
And that's kind of what's happening. Those restrictions are getting plenty of support from the left.
Yeah.
The right is either quiet about it or just hasn't realized how far this could go. These companies have the ability to track your activities very, very well. And already they're talking about, well, what do we do for people who obey the rules? And they're talking about corporate rewards for compliant behavior.
Oh, kind of like the reward for getting the vaccine. You get thrown into this lottery and you got man, we are so going to fall for all this. I mean, well, we don't have a choice.
Well,
what is the regular person going to do to stop all this?
And where does it stop?
Exactly.
Again, what happens if you have a tweet out there from 10 years ago and suddenly somebody finds it and says, hey, this guy's whatever, and your home loan is denied?
Yeah. Used to be it was just you got ridiculed, but now they're actually attaching a monetary consequence to it.
And the problem is going to come when you have the confluence of this idea.
Yeah.
And the digital dollar, which people are pushing for in Washington very, very hard to try to get rid of cash altogether.
Completely.
And if you have a digital dollar, that's going to make it really easy to incorporate this social credit system into your ability to purchase.
We saw it in
goods.
Idiocracy. He didn't have any credit. Yeah, but it was a little scarier there. In Idiocracy, it was funny, but you knew, oh, yeah, they're going to be able to do that. They couldn't get food because they didn't have any more credits.
And and the whole thing about Bitcoin was it was decentralized forms of money. Well, the government's slowly coming around to trying to squash that.
All right. Well, do you think they'll get us? Well, they will get us to fall in line.
Well, Britain now has its own version of a health social credit system. China only started this 7 years ago.
And it's moved that quickly.
And considering the growth of algorithms and the dependency on technology,
it's going to happen fast. It's going to be a really quick shift. And again, nothing that we're going to be able to stop.
Well, that's true. And to me, the scary thing is as it grows in power, I think people will say, well, this will never happen here. I think that it won't be fear of this new system. I think people will embrace it like they embraced an unproven vaccine.
Or will it just be that whole split down the middle, 50-50?
Well, it always seems like it will be. But
eventually, well,
it's like the booster.
The majority, yeah.
Think about the vaccine booster. Right now they're saying, is there going to be a booster? Is there not going to be a booster? And I've heard many people say, well, I went and got vaccinated, but there's no way I'm taking the booster.
Yeah, of course you will.
I'm willing to bet you right now that when the booster comes out, people will line up around the block to get it just like they did for this vaccine.
Absolutely. You know, apparently Moderna has made a ton of money on this. Their profits are just through the roof. To the moon. Their profits are to the moon,
Alice, to the moon.
I can't imagine how that happened.
The social credit system may be
look
on
for
its
it
way.
around your corner.
Look for it in your local grocery aisle.
Look for it in your bank account. We're coming for you.
Who watches the Watchmen? Indeed.
Well, apparently the internet does.
Well, yeah. And if you think, well, the government, I mean, how far can they go? then it brings me to the next story, and then we can get into our topic of
have you crafted a segue for our audience?
A segue?
A segue.
Kind of, sort of. If you think the government doesn't have a vested interest in your private life, this one's kind of fun. The infrastructure bill that they're debating in Washington right now.
Yes. Again, it's going to be a part of history.
The bill that I don't even know how much it is now. $1 trillion.
I don't think those words mean anything anymore.
It's $1 Brazilian.
A Brazilian. It's going to support us.
Anyway, in that infrastructure bill, buried deep, deep inside, is a new rule that will require all new cars in 2026 to come equipped with advanced drunk and impaired driving technology.
Well, that's going to save lives, Mr. Long. What are you upset about?
Well, I'm upset because, one, it's going to make cars more expensive. Two, it's a passive technology. They have it now where, like, if you've been convicted,
you can blow into a hose to.
You have to blow your car to be able to start it.
Wow.
Anyway,
that's not been said before.
Oh, I'm sure it has.
Yes, sarcasm. Are you like a Facebook person? You don't understand.
I really need to get home, but first my car wants me to blow them. Anyway, so this is passive, though. They want it to sense alcohol in the car and prevent the car from starting if there's a detection of 0.08, which I don't understand how you do that passively.
Passively. Well, so if I go to Frosty Factory and they're not taking Louisiana into consideration here.
Well, there's been a real push by Mothers Against Drunk Driving to get this put into cars.
I can imagine, yeah.
But again, if it's a passive technology and the passenger's drunk, how does the car
I got to take somebody home. He smells like a brewery. And
within this bill is also a provision to have cameras that would monitor your driving while driving.
No.
Built into the car. Part of the black box system for cars.
Okay.
And of course, they've been pushing for this for a while, and now they don't have the technology to actually pull this off.
I was going to say,
right,
just like with the breathalyzer thing, it's going to have to be, the technology isn't there. Maybe this is what they're shooting for. Hopefully we'll be gone. I won't be driving.
I love this.
At that point.
Nissan currently experimenting with technology that includes a sensor in the gear stick that would detect alcohol in your sweat.
In your excretions.
Yeah, and they haven't solved the problem of a inebriated passenger yet. They're still working.
Yeah, they'll get to it eventually. Although, Mr. Long, if you don't drink and get in your vehicle, then you don't have a problem.
It's already illegal to drunk
drive.
To drunk drive. It's already illegal to drunk.
All right.
And so
no, he is not drunk.
No, it's too early.
Yeah, it's early. It is. Yeah.
Although I believe in our last podcast, I think we'd all had a shot of tequila at this point.
Well, that was different. We had company.
Hey, it's 5:00 somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, this is my favorite part. The text of the bill says, if a final regulation doesn't come down within 10 years,
okay,
the transportation secretary, whoever that is at that time, will have to submit a report to the House and the Senate Commerce committees on what's taking so long.
Oh, so some poor sap is already getting work he doesn't know he's going to have.
Yeah, in the future. So if you're going to if you want to get that job,
make sure you do it beforehand.
Just know you're going to have to write
or retire after that. Yeah.
Your first day on the job. Hey, you need to write this report.
All right. Well.
And they said it would cost car manufacturers millions and millions and millions of dollars to research this technology, make it happen, and then install it in cars.
At this point, don't they just need to have chips for cars?
Well, since they want us all to have electric cars, isn't this going to just reduce your mileage?
I don't know. All right. So infrastructure bill, that has to get passed, though. Well, you know what? That would still come down the line, whether the infrastructure bill gets passed or not.
Well, now it's a race. It's an actual car race.
Yeah.
You know what the race is? The race for this versus self-driving cars. Because you don't need
They had
this.
been working on, yeah.
If you have a self-driving car, why do you need you can get hammered and just get in your car. Take me home, car.
Well, but up until now, the tests on those have not proven out to be, 100%. Not even, I don't even know if it's 90% safe. Is that a better odd than humans, I suppose?
Yeah, I suppose it is.
Yeah. All right. Driving.
Anyway,
it's dangerous.
There you go. A government crawling in your life.
And that's even more dangerous.
That's probably the most dangerous.
Yeah, probably so.
All right. Well,
and how are they going to get us to agree to this? They're probably going to use little cultural bits of information to sway our views.
No.
Little propaganda stamps. The tiny stamps.
Hey, in British Columbia, they were giving out my favorite. They were giving stickers to people who got vaccinated.
Yeah.
And they were little yellow stars.
Oh, well, maybe it doesn't mean the same for them.
Well, it does. It means the same to Jews around the world.
Yeah, it is a worldwide
that's kind of crazy
symbol.
But anyway.
All right. Somebody didn't think that through. You think they lost their job?
They already have stopped it, apparently.
Well, yeah. Somebody got fired.
Well, yeah, and Jewish people were a little miffed.
A little bit. Yeah. All right.
It's like they're never going to let that go. People hang on to a Holocaust for a really long time.
I think we should not let that go. Yes, that's something we should keep in mind.
Well, as the video with Deb singing told everyone.
I am shameless. I don't care.
The topic du jour is the memes.
Memes. And we asked our audience for participation in this one, and man y'all stepped up.
I got so many memes.
I did. Well, you got more than I did. You did it. Well, actually, we put it in 3 places requesting
Originally, we put it on the Long in the Boot Facebook page.
But we have a theory about Facebook.
We're starting to notice that the Facebook community, the Facebook overlords, there we go. There you go. When we post something on the Long in the Boot page, it doesn't seem to go out very well.
Yeah.
But we get lots of notifications on how we could boost its viewership by giving them money.
Yeah, and the money's gone up. We've only done it a couple of times, and now they're asking for more money.
And apparently Facebook is hurting, I guess.
Maybe they need that.
At $14 at a time. And by the way, it was 10 originally. Now it's 14.
They see. And
they keep sending us notifications on how we can make more money from our podcast, because the tens of dollars we're making now.
So in the red.
Yeah, I know.
This is a hobby, people.
This is a hobby. One day it may be real. I don't know. Maybe.
I'm just trying to get to 60.
I'm enjoying it. Yeah, retirement.
I'm just trying to get to 60.
Just trying to make it through.
That's it. So our idea was memes. Yeah, because, well,
they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. We spend time looking at them. We spend a lot of time sharing them.
Truly.
Sometimes I don't share them because they're so inappropriate, but I laugh.
Well, I think everybody that's listening probably at least once, maybe, I don't know, has already been banned from Facebook or been put in Facebook jail for a meme they posted.
Not me.
I know some people have been ousted for 3 days for a meme they posted like 8 years ago.
I know. I self-censor on the internet. I don't. Facebook is the only social media I have time for. And
well, I still have an issue when somebody has a private group and you can't get in unless they okay it.
Yeah.
Everything should.
Then that means everything within that group, and you have the choice to just leave it. You're not on the full platform.
Yes, but what about white supremacists? Are they allowed to have a...
I don't even know about that voice.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on it.
Please don't. Just let it go, G-Long.
Let it go.
Yeah, it's let it go. Well, I'd rather those people, well, I guess if they're in a private group. No, I don't know.
But anyway, so back
Complex.
to memes. Memes, what are they? Where'd they come from? How'd they happen? Who invented them?
Well,
did they already exist?
I think at the core of everything, they probably always existed in some form.
Well, that's the idea.
That is the idea. It comes from the Greek word mimia.
Or mimi. Well,
mimi.
Or mimia.
Like a mimeograph. When we were kids, most of our listeners don't know what the mimeograph was.
If you ever watch, best example I can give you is the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High when they get their worksheets.
Yeah, and
all the kids smell them.
Pick them up and smell that purple ink. It's a fragrance. I don't know. I don't know that
It brings me back to school, and I don't know of anything.
It does trigger a memory, but I don't know that I've ever smelled it on anything else.
No. It is a unique smell.
So we'd get our mimeographs, and if they were fresh off the copy, the smell was intense.
Yeah, and they were even warm.
Do you think we were all just getting high?
Well, that was the rumor.
Yeah,
that was the meme.
Maybe that's why we were doing it.
It was a meme.
Yeah, it was.
It was a meme.
We all did it.
It was
spread like a virus.
But it took a scientist to kind of do this.
Kind of break it down for us.
Yeah. The man who is credited with coining the word meme is Sir Richard Dawkins.
Yes.
Give
him his title. Give him his due.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't like him.
Oh, no, because of his religious views.
He is militantly atheist.
Yeah, he's virulent about it.
But he comes at it from a science point of view. So anything that's of a supernatural nature, Dawkins is simply not going to.
Yeah, he's not. But that's not really why we.
But that's not it.
And we're going to let him define it.
Well, we'll start with him just explaining something first at the beginning so that we can talk about what he's saying.
When I said that the reason why we explain evolution in terms of changes in gene frequencies, I said the reason for that was that only genes make exact copies of themselves through generations, and therefore only genes have a really significant difference between the successful ones and the unsuccessful ones.
So there he explains the genetic side of this.
Yeah.
And it was a book he wrote in 1976 called The Selfish Gene, and it was literally about our genes and about DNA in particular, really. But he was talking about the fact that that's the perpetuating factor in life on Earth, is this ability to replicate perfectly, in most cases, itself.
Otherwise, it's a mutation.
Self-replicating DNA. Yes. That's the whole point. And he was trying to come up. Well, he did come up with the idea that there may be in other places where other worlds exist, there may be something that's just like genes, but isn't necessarily DNA.
It's not organic in that sense.
But he's referring to this idea of copying. I'll let him explain it.
Let him do it.
If on some other planet, if on Mars, there is life, then I put my shirt on the prediction that it will be found to be Darwinian life, and that there will be something equivalent to genes. There will be something equivalent to DNA, which is very, very exactly copied, not absolutely exactly, but usually exactly copied. There'll be something equivalent to DNA, and it may well not be DNA, it may be nothing like DNA.
And so he had to come up with a word for that process.
Yes.
And, well,
So what's replicating like our DNA?
Maybe there's another kind of replicator on this planet that potentially could be doing the same job as DNA. And that's where the meme came from. The meme is the unit of cultural inheritance.
And there we go.
Yes.
So the meme is the same thing as DNA, but in a cultural sense.
Yes, and he did that in 76 before we ever had the internet, so he hadn't conceived of that. In fact, he said that most of what is unusual about man can be summed up in one word: culture.
Culture.
And that's so we're animals, and that's the similarity, but what is unusual about us is
we develop culture.
Our culture.
And biologically, he would say, he's a zoologist, he would say biologically it's DNA. Biologically, DNA is what's propelling us forward. But the difference with us, we also have this other side, which is the cultural side.
Yes.
The human side.
Yes, the thing that makes us creative and interesting and different and unique and yet all the same.
Right. And so and it was in the last chapter of his book. It was like almost like an epilogue.
Right.
And somehow or another, his ideas about what memes were have gradually become internet based. Many people, young people today, most young people would tell you that a meme is a funny little thing you see on the internet.
Yeah. But it's actually a whole lot more than that. And
it has its basis going way back.
It does.
Because Dawkins used a good example, I thought, which was the idea of whistling a tune. Mm-hmm. You go down the street, you whistle a tune, somebody hears it and begins whistling it. And then they go down the street and they're whistling that tune and somebody else hears it.
Yes.
And they begin whistling it.
We call that an earworm.
Yeah, we call it an earworm. And there's a great doctor who talks about earworms. You want to hear what he had to say?
What did he say?
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you.
No. I know you did not.
That
do
is
that
Dr.
to me.
Rick Astley.
That is not right.
And
That meme certainly evolved, didn't it?
it did.
It did.
Is there a history to it?
There it is.
Where'd that thing come from anyway?
Jesus Lord, you never expect. It's like the Spanish Inquisition. You just
Nobody expects the Spanish
Rickroll.
Inquisition.
That meme actually, well, it was first the video, right? That's what happened. You clicked on it, so it was came from a bait and switch trick called duck rolling that they were doing on the 4chan website, like in 2006. So that video bait and switch that you would do to people with him dancing in his little trench coat, just kind of evolved from there. I mean, now I've seen it as just the song. It could just be the line like what you just did to me. I've seen it as just an image of him in his trench coat and the text on the bottom, never going to give you. Like, oh my God. Yeah. Rick rolling. Okay. Oh, you took me back, baby. I remember.
I remember
back then.
I remember.
A meme.
But memes, I've got the first memes to ever appear, and I thought this was funny, was it started in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, and I remember them all.
No kidding. And it was simply the text, top text, bottom text on a picture.
Yeah.
And we've seen them all. One does not simply,
Yes,
and then,
yes.
from Game of Thrones.
Some pithy little line.
But you
Truth.
also, and then you also had video memes
Yeah.
that caught on as well. But were they cultural? Like, for instance, the Tron guy, the overweight guy in the Tron suit.
Yeah, that did
was
the little
everywhere.
sword. You're talking about the sword?
No,
boy?
that was the boy with the microphone stand.
Oh, yes.
But he had a mental disorder, and that one was kind of mean.
Well, yeah, was it?
Why-
It stuck around for a long time.
But like the
The dancing baby is the one that
dancing baby was a big
yeah,
one.
because they were it was what they could do with the computer at the time.
And laughing baby was another one.
yeah,
You just
yeah.
hear it.
And we all remember Grumpy Cat and all that.
Grumpy Cat, Ceiling Cat.
Yeah.
I think he appeared in your
LOL
video.
cats. We used to spend our Saturday mornings
Catterday.
Catterday. Yes.
Catterday, man.
Looking at those stupid LOL cats.
And we had the video, of course, video memes. There was that one, Chocolate Rain. You remember Chocolate Rain?
Yes. Oh my God. So meme, unit of cultural information spread by imitation. So that's the part for Dawkins where it kind of changed, like, because the internet deliberately, rather than randomly mutating and surviving like
Right.
a gene would, the internet, we've become its deliberate alteration
And manipulation.
and manipulation. So he says that's where the original concept, I guess, separates from his idea. But isn't that still part of it? I mean, it's random, but it isn't, because
well,
it's
like he said, think about, like, you post, the first person that posts a meme with, let's say the first person that posted the Game of Thrones meme, one simply does not walk in, or the Lord of the Rings theme.
oh yeah,
One
Walk
does not
into-
simply walk into Mordor, and they changed it. Each time that gets changed, it's being mutated.
it is
just like a
mutating.
gene. And that's what Dawkins said, remember, was they make perfect copies of themselves, mostly.
Mostly.
And so
Usually.
we have genetic hiccups in our DNA that manifest themselves in all kinds of ways, and we can name thousands of
Yeah,
them.
well, and that's the thing, though, right? As they mutate.
But Dawkins does point out that DNA is digital.
Oh well, we run on electrical impulses. so,
Correct.
Yeah.
And our self-replicating DNA is literally digital instructions in a biological form.
Yes.
So if we go back in time, how far back can we go to discover memes?
Yeah, things that are replicated like that.
Well,
we share.
culturally,
Yeah.
for instance, even like cave art, you go back as far as you can go and you see cave art in a cave, right?
Yeah.
They'll find that in they'll find it in caves that are thousands of miles apart, but the art itself looks very similar,
Sure.
and even at the quantum level, an atom in one place,
Oh, Bella says,
an atom in one place can have an effect on an atom in another place that is distant.
Yeah.
Well, Bella can shut up. She's wrong.
She doesn't know about quantum physics.
That's right.
That dog.
What do dogs know?
They know who you can trust.
So anyway, the point is that memes, while cultural, may have a basis that we just don't understand going as far back as human civilization.
Well, I think it's like a universal theme. It's just something that is a part of humanity. I mean, aren't those the memes that you identify with or that you laugh the most with? Or it's a short little notion or idea and you're looking at it going, God, man, isn't that true?
Well, but
and you laugh, but that it's applicable to all people.
but where I was going was distance and time. Cultural memes used to take time to develop because of distance and because of communication or lack
no
thereof.
longer.
Now it is instantaneous.
Absolutely.
So if cultural memes are in fact changing our culture,
And they are.
if digital memes are changing our culture,
They are.
it is happening at a speed unlike anything in the past
Any other time
ever.
period. Yeah. So while it is similar, it is extremely different because it's moving so quickly. And that's the thing. Some of those memes stick around and others do not, just like mutations, right? Just
Right.
like genes that are successful, memes that are successful. The blonde woman and the cat. That meme
It's a
has
good one.
stuck around.
It's been around for a
It's
while.
stuck around a little longer than I anticipated, and I still laugh at them.
I do too.
Most of the time, unless they're political, and then I just scroll past that.
But we will agree that we're at a weird kind of time in society.
Oh, absolutely.
And how much have memes, both computer memes and cultural memes themselves, these ideas that are replicated over and over. People say, what's happened in college campuses? Why are so many people becoming so liberal? Well,
they're being influenced by those little tiny bits of information that
Ideas.
get stuck in your head. And they absolutely do. You can't, that meme that says you can't unsee what you've just seen is true.
don't think about pink elephants.
And there
dang,
it is.
there it is.
You can't let it go. Is this dress blue or is it gold?
Right.
You know,
And
we're going to have college courses, in the future where you're going to learn the history of the 1990s or the 2000s in a meme 101. I mean, that's how you do learn a lot about a person by the memes they post.
well, that was the reason I asked for memes.
Yeah, because
I was curious to see what the subject
feel,
matter.
what the
of
subject
memes.
matter was and what the
And
feel was.
Humor obviously was a big part.
Yeah,
but
sarcasm and humor.
sarcasm, yay.
We have
Thank
little
you for sarcasm.
we like the little allusions to things that we all have. But like if you've never seen The Mandalorian, Baby Yoda means nothing to you. Those memes
Still cute.
Makes me laugh all the time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But I think that memes, while we can look at the computer memes and the digital memes and laugh and have a good time and everything, there is something kind of insidious about the idea that
absolutely can
they
be.
can use these cute little things to
alter
manipulate
our
large segments of
society's
society.
views. Absolutely. So memes can be beneficial.
I was quite happy I didn't get a bunch of vaccine memes. That's what I was.
No, I didn't, and I didn't want any mask memes, and I just we get that. That's serious. That's real stuff, and people are really hateful and fighting about it. But
we still see them. They're out there.
I try to scroll past a lot of that. We got a couple uplifting memes at the end. I got some of those. I do a lot of uplifting, motivational things because the world can be shit, and
Well,
I feel like I need that.
It's like somebody said at a meeting we had the other day, right? You are never going to change someone's mind by something you post on Facebook.
By putting a meme up.
Yeah,
but
it's just not
if
gonna
you
happen.
do it long enough
and repeat it
over and over, and other people pick it up.
Yeah.
They can be harmful because they are inherently harmful. According to some scholars, memes are parasites or viruses of the mind. Once assimilated into the human mind, their chief purpose becomes their own replication, with humans having little or no control over them.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
And people of a like brain flock together.
Yeah, and so they're going to see
So
a
they
meme
have the
and go,
same viruses, right?
I guess.
Digital viruses.
Well, I mean, are there any good viruses? Because it says some memes can be beneficial, because the uplifting things, the ones where look, if I see somebody, a former student or somebody I know continually posting really dark and depressing memes, they may get a private message from me at some point going, man, you haven't pulled yourself out of this in a while,
Well, and
I start to worry about some people.
Yeah, and I think part of the problem with memes is they take these really grand, broad ideas,
generalized,
and they condense them down into just an expression.
Yeah, and in my mind, the first time I read something, it's usually like all of the alternates to that. It's like, yeah, but what about this, or what about one the other day I read was about how women aren't fulfilling the role that they're supposed to fulfill it traditionally anymore. And I'm thinking, well, throughout history, men have had to take over roles for women. Women have had to take, I mean, there are so many instances where that's just not the case. And so you can't boil it down to just that one idea. The problem with everything now is because women aren't traditional.
Yeah.
What?
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 Well, we know when that happened. World War II, baby.
There you go. Go to work.
Changed
Go to
everything
work.
for women.
Yeah. It was just, again, you can't just generalize
memes,
all the
posters.
time.
What were posters during World War II but simply memes?
Memes.
And see Rosie the Riveter.
Yeah.
You can do it, ladies.
Yeah, get out here.
And then after the war, they're
And
like,
she's a
go back to
symbol.
the house.
Like, wait a minute,
Wait,
what?
you said I could do it.
I have biceps.
You can. Do it at home.
I can use heavy equipment.
I can weld.
I know how to do this.
Well, and that idea, though, that about this, they did a study at Texas A&M University about memes. They actually looked at memes and religion.
Well, and I had a little something about that. Yeah, how that's when it's being abused or misused, when people feel like their religious views are being pushed on or political views are being pushed on them.
Well, they used one example to study this idea that memes about religion break down in positive and negative ways, which we already knew.
Yeah.
But it makes religious ideas more accessible. And they used the Buddy Christ.
Oh, from the movie
Dogma.
Yeah. Okay.
And one of the things they found out was for some people, that image makes them very angry.
Really?
Yes.
Because he's like cartoonish or?
Because he's too happy and he's got his thumb up and he's big smile.
It's the modernization.
But I did like the idea that there was an Episcopal priest at this meeting who said, no, he looked at Buddy Christ as being absolutely wonderful because it gave people a chance to reflect on whether or not they demonstrate the same joyful witness as Christ.
Oh, see? So it's mindset. It's how you see it and how you view it.
But what's happening is it's creating a lot of religious people get upset because they think that memes about religion minimize religion.
Well, no, only if it's a degrading message or
the Mormons in particular find
don't like memes.
They do not
or don't like
they
religious
say
memes.
They're reductionist in the glory that is the Mormon religion.
But if it's making it accessible to a wider audience, maybe somebody continues to see those ideas put out in that method and become changed by it.
Right. Well, and people use these things.
Well, sure.
And
I like a quote every day to kind of,
But memes attempting to take religion, think about how big that
and try
is.
to boil it down
to an image with a few words of text.
Okay, well, do you read it if it's a lot of text, if it's a meme that's a whole story? I mean, no, I'm asking you personally.
No, and it's an idea. That's the whole point of memes.
I mean, wouldn't you prefer to just read a quick little line and scroll on?
Yeah, but to me, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's just...
In fact, internet memes, for the most part...
Well, because people can... Actually, I have a real bitch about that. If you're going to go through the trouble of creating a meme, if you feel like you have something you want to put out there, spell it right. Please, God, check. You're taking the time to piece together something. You're putting your text in the right spot.
And use less and few correctly.
Less. A lot is 2 words. Yep. All right is 2 words.
Yes.
There are just so many. Oh, good Lord. Sell and sail.
Yeah. And y'all is 1 word with an apostrophe.
Well,
it's a contraction, I guess.
You can use that. And I mean, I don't know. When I'm posting, if I make a grammar error or punctuation error, I try to go back and fix those things later if I see it. But I'm posting. I'm just talking.
Right.
And so I'm not so strict about that, I guess. But if you are making a meme,
actually creating
that's like a formal paper. Get that shit right. Okay, there.
All right. The English teacher has spoken, people.
So all you meme creators out there.
And there will be
and
a
you're
test.
putting it in human mind. See, that is making it worse in society because now somebody read that and they've got that replicated in their brain and they think that's how there is spelled.
Terrible.
Well, so you're creating trouble.
Yes, you are.
Just stop it.
For me, because I have to listen to my wife complain.
I try not to very often, but man, some of those things, like I like this meme, I like your idea, but you spelled this wrong, or I can't use it now.
Well, let's get off the internet memes.
We're getting
per
off
se.
the grammar high horse. Okay.
Well, no, just internet memes in general. I like the idea of the meme as being this a component of cultural change.
Yeah, it is a component of cultural
Well,
change.
all culture is based on ideas, right?
Yes, that we share and communicate. We've spent a lot of time on our podcast talking about communication because language is such a
And memes either fail or they don't. But think about it, like things cultural, like religion.
yeah.
Look, there were a zillion people running around in the Middle East at the time of Christ saying they were the Messiah.
Yeah.
But only one of them managed to get his idea
To stick
to stick.
and to spread.
Well, the spreading part of it probably had more to do with the guy who carried his idea.
Well, but it was because of his direct influence that
Well, but even that, if you go and read the history, there were two different ideas of how it should work.
Yes.
There was one component that wanted to keep what would become Christianity completely Jewish.
Yes.
And the other side said, no, everybody has to be welcome. Right there was a split on the
in
original
ideas.
idea.
Yeah. Well, civil rights
A
movement.
mutation,
There's
if you
always
will.
been. You're always going to have several trains of thought, and hopefully, it boils down, eventually to the most beneficial for the most people.
Well, that's what I was getting at. So
Were you?
I was going to bring it forward to the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
Originally, very few people were abolitionists, but their
Yes.
ideas took root. And as that spread and spread, it allowed for this idea that this was wrong. Slavery
Yeah.
was wrong. People being held in bondage was wrong.
And you had people change their mind. Mark Twain, Samuel
Sure.
Clemens, he changed his mind based on his wife and her family and their beliefs.
And then you had the war came
Yeah.
along. And even then, you still had people saying, no, now that you've fought for your country, you need to get back where you belong in your society.
Yeah. Well, that Jim Crow mindset.
But by then, that idea had culturally spread.
yeah. And it
that,
wasn't going to
No,
stick.
this isn't right.
Yeah.
And then television, boom.
Yeah.
And cameras suddenly,
More immediate and visual.
Visual.
Added that to
when
it.
they let loose the hoses and the dogs on the marchers in Selma,
Yeah.
that was captured on television.
That was horrific.
And immediately a meme is created, an
Mm-hmm.
idea, cultural idea. Well, this cannot stand.
Well, yeah, you had Americans suddenly seeing that had never seen that kind of violence before. And this is
Right.
happening in our own country.
And didn't know it was happening. I mean, it was happening in the South in the 50s, this late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah. Well,
But there were people in other places that literally did not believe that was
realized
actually
that
happening.
was the case. Yeah.
And that's still going on, that kind of idea
Yeah.
around the world.
And now, as you said, the movements change so rapidly now, and we're altering so many things so quick. You Too movement or Me Too movement, for women, and then
Sure.
right now we're seeing the results of all of those kinds of ideas.
And the ideas are, man, they're flying
They really are
furiously
so,
now.
So if you're one of those people posting memes all the time about the past, and how you remember, oh look, it's a
Member-
rotary dial
member berries.
phone. I remember a rotary dial phone. You remember when times were good? You remember when
Star Wars?
Man,
I remember Star
you better
Wars.
hold on because it's not going to stop.
Yeah, it's going to move forward one way or another.
Yeah, because we don't get
It
that
doesn't
in
necessarily
life.
have to be good
it may
either.
it may not be what you want.
Not
but
all ideas should take root.
No.
In fact, some ideas that take root have to be pulled out
well, aren't they mutated?
because they mutated so badly.
Yeah.
And
I kind of fall back and hope for the kindness and the righteousness of people, and that we.
I do too, but it's becoming more difficult.
I know,
And I'm going to
I
use,
know.
and I hate to use it as an example, but the vaccine. I've heard now real people, and I say
real people,
real
What the
human
hell,
beings
What the hell does that mean?
who have jobs working for media saying
yeah.
that they want the government to force vaccines into people.
but they're
and corporations
but they're
are
doing
adopting
it for the right reason, to save us all.
Well, that's what Hitler said.
Because you're
too.
not alone in this society. It's not just you.
It's not. But at the same time, I'm stunned by the number of people who are just rushing pell-mell to embrace a form of fascism, which is what corporate governance is. And that seems to be
The prevalent mindset.
where we are rushing.
It is. Read the memes.
Again, Black Mirror.
Read the memes. And that is how you get a sense, right? You get a sense of a person, but you also, like, I go through my Facebook and a lot of times just scroll quickly, but I get a feel for the mindset of a larger group too. You know, you pick a couple people that you're close to and you see, oh, that even, look, Facebook is like a little journal, right? Don't you go back and you see your memories and you, man, what the hell was wrong with me in 2014?
Oh, I know.
On this day.
Some of the things that I post, like I one time I posted this thing.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
Sorry.
You did let me down. You let me down right there with that button push, buddy.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help
You
it.
apologize to your audience.
I'm keeping that
too.
on my machine forever. That and my
All right.
dun dun dun.
Well, don't overuse it. Don't
won't.
overuse it. But you really do. So you memes teach us a lot. They have power, just like language, because they are language.
If you see something, say something.
And well, I mean,
Tell on your friends.
I saw them posting all these strange memes the other day, and I didn't understand. And the people who passively aggressively use their memes.
Actually, my favorite is when people don't get a meme. I don't get it. Why? What?
Oh, and they ask about it?
Yeah, they'll
Look, if
ask.
I don't get a meme, just keep scrolling. I don't have time for all that.
Don't admit you don't get it.
Just like we said in the song, how much time do we waste posting memes? I
Too
waste
much.
a lot of time posting me. I go read them and a lot of times don't post them. Sometimes I'll save them and wait to have that feeling again. Like I read it and it's like, oh man, that's the truth. But I don't feel that today.
Right.
So I'm going to save it. Sometimes I post an uplifting meme next to a really sarcastic dark meme or something.
I'm waiting to get busted for a few memes that I posted in
In
the
the
early
past?
days of Facebook.
What did I see the other day that cracked me up? It was a family member. A black and white picture of Adolf Hitler walking with a small girl, and it
Yeah.
said that it was Nancy Pelosi and her father. and Facebook checked that.
They fact checked it.
Fact-checked
Let
that.
everybody know that Hitler is in fact not Nancy Pelosi's father. No, her father was a businessman who made lots and lots of money.
So then, in the vein of what a meme is, and becoming a virus in the brain, right, that you can't let go.
Yes.
Does that become the truth to young people if they don't know?
if
It's not pointed
if it's
out,
repeated enough,
if it's not fact checked.
if it's
It
repeated
becomes
enough,
the truth. Yeah, because isn't that gossip too? Like you can't. I mean, I always use this when I was teaching middle school to the ladies because there'd inevitably be a fight in the course of a school year because some girl said this girl was a hoe or whatever.
right?
How do you get rid of that rumor? How do you make that go away?
You just have to keep.
So
moving
some
forward.
girls just think, well, I've got a fighter.
right?
If I fight her, that rumor's gone.
Not necessarily.
No, because it's in the brain of all the boys.
And then, yeah,
And the girls, I mean,
Sure.
everybody. So when they see her for a while,
it's there.
now if her behaviors support that
Right.
idea,
It'll take root.
then it definitely takes root. But it is still always there.
Yeah, and everybody's had that. If you look back,
Oh, yeah.
anybody who's out of high school now can look back and think about
Say,
one of the early memories I have when I first started teaching was everybody freaking out because there was some girl who told a bunch of people she was a witch and they bought it. And there was not
Oh, but I'm sure she wore black nail polish.
Yeah,
Or,
oh, yeah.
something along those lines.
and it was like, she's a witch.
Oh,
And I
she
was like,
probably read
"A
about
witch?
Wiccans and
are you
decided,
talking about?
yeah. All
Really?
right. Well, in middle school, it's
Wait a minute, what year am I in? Well, you see, you're 2000, but I am in. Okay, yeah.
maybe that was it.
That was the
It was cultural.
It was low. It was
Regional.
locale.
Yeah, regional. I don't know. Anyhow, so
so there you
taking
go.
root and how do you get rid of it? And you can't always do that. It's like Rick rolling; it keeps coming back.
And these ideas, these little nuggets of ideas, are in sum total what makes up our culture.
Well, that's my point about college classes. I don't think it's far-fetched in the least to believe that in the future there will be college courses that's history, cultural history, but can't we read memes and also know what was going on politically? And you'd have to balance it out.
You now have different versions of history.
Oh, absolutely, because
You know,
memes
and-
can be they're altered and they don't have to put the truth.
Let's face it, the big fight right now, the big fight over critical race theory.
Yes.
There are still people arguing about it who have no concept of even what it is. And I just broke it down. For me personally, I just went to critical theory. What's critical theory?
Yeah,
you can put the
before
word
we
race
add
in it,
a
critical theory
adjective to it.
is a Marxist theory. that society was built to support the culture and society in which it's built. So all of the
How meta.
well, it is. It's basically saying that people in power construct society to benefit them.
Yes.
Well, that's shocking.
I know. It's never happened before.
And then when you say critical race theory, that came from another theory, the idea, because it's critical economic theory came after that, that rich people
So
built
there's been more
society.
critical theories?
There's several critical theories.
What?
And critical race theory says that American culture was built
to support.
slavery, period.
Okay.
And while there are nuggets of truth within that, it's not the sole.
Yeah, it's not
thing.
the only truth. Well, just like
And saying, well, we're not going to teach critical race theory. Well, parts of it we already do.
yeah,
When we talk about the fact that slavery was used to build an industrial base built on or an agricultural base built on tobacco, that's part of critical race theory. It's just not called that. It's called
and
history.
It's history, and it's only one part of it. And isn't that
And the
really
key
all
word
you want
is
in a curriculum?
theory.
Well, exactly. and in a curriculum, really, what you want is a balance of
Right.
everything. I've been saying it all along.
And people go, well, we don't want to teach critical race theory. Well, you shouldn't in high school because it's a college level philosophy class. It's not about
factual
history.
Yeah.
but we do absolutely need to talk about, for instance, in American history, the Black Americans who contributed to our culture.
Yes.
People like Frederick Douglass, who lots of kids have never even heard of. It
Yeah.
drives me
How does
crazy.
that? I know. How do we do that?
And
Get
so,
through school and not.
So that's the thing about, memes I'm just going to start thinking of them as simply cultural ideas.
Cultural units of information.
Yes.
They can be textual, they can be video,
Digital.
they can, digital bits of
And
information.
once you incorporate that idea into your body, you have made it both organic and digital.
Exactly. And it becomes a part of you,
Yeah.
good or bad.
And you will spread it or not, or you will change it and mutate it and then spread it to someone else.
That's why I really don't read the political memes. I just scroll past. I mean, during
Well,
the
I see
election,
'em.
there were a few I laughed at, but I wouldn't share
Sure.
them. I'm not sharing any of that because I'm not taking a side.
Well, I'm apolitical when it comes to,
Yeah.
especially at the federal level at this point. I'm too old. I'm not going to affect any grand change on the direction that we're headed.
No, this is all it's a game of young people now.
It's a game of young people, and I've done my best
Do what you're
to
going to
prepare
do.
students that I had
Yeah.
with the tools to be able to look at these things and make value judgments based on the goodness within.
Yeah.
And
You have to
I
help.
got to be honest, most of the kids that I see today, and I'm sorry I'm calling you kids, those of you with families,
I know I can't help it.
but I see nothing very positive.
Mostly good. Yeah.
I don't see too many. I mean, there's been a
No.
couple guys I've seen in the paper for,
For things.
and there was that disembodied
And,
voice
yeah,
that said,
at the
"Hey, Mr.
jail,
Long at the
yeah.
jail."
But-
But other than that,
And you don't even know. That might have been an innocent little thing.
you know what? He may have changed his life and
Could have.
yeah.
And I love seeing that. That's kind of my point with the memes and getting a feel for the people I see on my little Facebook world, because I'm not a social person. So
And the people
I'm
we
not going out
see.
and interacting that way. So
I'm excited about seeing a new group
a
of
new group this
faces.
year. I know about 100 or so people in my immediate world.
Yeah, I don't see as many as I used to because
No.
my job has changed a little bit.
And that gives you some opportunities too that having so
Right.
many didn't allow. But yeah, I'm excited too.
Yeah.
Always have been each new year. All
Yep.
of the new groups.
I like people.
Yes.
I don't like big crowds, but
not
I
an
do-
overly social going out kind of
no,
person.
I'm not.
I'm an observer. I like to watch the.
A lurker. I'm a lurker.
Yeah. Well, I'll get involved, but that's the show. That's the stage side. Being a teacher allows you for that performance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The teacher me is different than the like going to a party me. I don't like parties because I don't like to socialize like that very much.
Yeah.
It's painful. But if I have people,
It's painful.
but if I have people around me who are social,
I just drive
It
you.
helps
I bring you
Yes.
through. Yes.
and for some reason, a lot of my friends seem to be social, which is really weird.
No.
No. I mean,
But they're taking a role of they're adding something to your life that you feel like you
sure. Oh,
aren't.
absolutely.
So there you go.
And I don't use the friends word loosely,
Oh gosh, no, no, I don't either.
because friends are high value.
Absolutely, absolutely. If I call you my friend, it's a different level.
And you people are our friends.
Oh, that's right. All right.
I even like you. You're all right.
You're a bit of the all right,
Yeah.
mostly.
Yeah, mostly.
Mostly.
I want to get back to my game.
Oh, well, I need to work in the yard. So I guess we need to wrap up these memes.
I guess we do.
I want to end on a quote because we've talked so much about
Sure.
language and communication, so many episodes about that.
Why not?
Because, I mean, what else are we as humans? In the end, all we have are our actions and our words.
That's
there's
true.
really nothing else. English novelist Angela Carter said that language is power, life, and the instrument of culture, and the instrument of domination and liberation.
Ooh.
Which I really, I
like that.
identified with her thought there that it's both, and you always have to be aware that you have control, you have power, and what are you taking in and what are you putting out? And I feel like there has to be a balance.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not all bright and sunny all the time. I'm also very realistic and understand, that it's not all nice, but where is your balance?
Right. Well, I mean, I think the Beatles said it best.
Did they?
The love you get is equal to the love you give.
There you go.
So there you go.
I like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, don't forget, you can reach us one more time, longintheboot@gmail.com. And you can address them to Debbie too. She'll.
I'll
make sure-
absolutely. Actually, I'm more communicative
Ooh.
sometimes than he is.
And the phone number is 337-502-9011. Well, Deb?
Send a meme.
Yeah, sure.
Just send me a meme.
You're still allowed to send a meme, show ideas, recipes.
Recipes?
Sure, why not?
I don't cook. That's your
By the
job.
way, speaking of recipes, if you haven't tried the butter chicken at Rajah's Grill in Lake Charles,
yeah.
you certainly should.
And you benefited by me saying, let's go someplace different we've never been before.
I think we'll have it tomorrow.
I think we might.
That sounds good.
All right.
All right, everybody. Y'all have a great
Bye.
week, and it's been fun. We'll see you in a couple weeks, and I'm sure we'll put a silly video out there at some point.
Oh, what will I do next?
Who knows?